right, it is Figgie and the Moose on this Wednesday right here on Pix 11 Plus. A good Wednesday to one and all. What's going on, Nelson? How you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. Just got off the set of New York Living and still having that repeated nightmare of what I watched last night.
Yeah, just turn off the email while we're doing this, if you don't mind. You're not the president of the United States.
I'm not in my desk. I'm not at my desk. This isn't my fault.
Well, there you go. Whatever it is, just shut the computer down, all right? The Knicks obviously lose last night out in Indianapolis to the Pacers, now trailing the series 3-1. And we talked about last night on Sports Nation Nightly. I thought whoever won Game 4 is going to win this series. And even though I like the Knicks in 7 before this series gets going, I have a hard time envisioning this Knicks team, even though they've defied the odds a lot during this playoff run. Watching this group as we see it over the course of this first 4 games, after giving Game 1 away, getting one back in Game 3, I have a hard time envisioning this team winning 3 straight against this Pacers team.
Yeah, going into the series, I did not see the Knicks being this flawed of a team. I really didn't. And when you talk about, you thought you had your 2 great 3-and-D guys on the wings with Bridges and OG Anunoby. You talk about Karl-Anthony Towns, yes, being the X factor. Talk about Jalen Brunson being the most clutch player in all of basketball. And at the end of the day, Josh Hart is on the, coming off the bench. Mitchell Robinson is the guy that you're rooting for the most. And the flaws of not being able to play defense against teams that can change their looks constantly, aren't, trying to just shoot the lights out from 3, but are deadly from 3. I mean, we're watching Siakam. I don't remember the last time Siakam missed a 3-pointer, quite frankly. Obi Toppin with the exclamation point and dagger, and all of Knicks fans, fitting for that. And you start thinking, is it necessarily have to be your year, or could it be somebody else's year? The Pacers had just been to this point last year, when they got beat mercilessly against the Celtics. And so you look, maybe it's a year too soon. All these things start running through your head, right? But the bottom line is this. It doesn't feel like it's going to be enough. Every step of the way just doesn't. They're trying to fight for their lives just to keep pace with the Indiana Pacers, and all they keep doing is they have another gear. We keep seeing another gear from the Pacers, where we don't see that from the Knicks.
Right, the lack of depth. We talk about Landry Shamet hit a 3 last night. DeLon Wright continues to impress coming off the bench, but those guys are limited when you're looking at the impact. And you look at Indiana, what they're able to do. The turnovers last night. I mean, the Knicks embarrassed themselves with some of the turnovers last night, not taking care of the basketball. The fast break points have been a massive issue. Indiana gets easier baskets. It seems to be a grind when you're looking at the New York Knicks. We've talked about the defensive liabilities that Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson are. And they can continue to echo, and they're not going to quit, about going and being down 3-1 and defying the odds. And we're not here to make history. And, people have doubted us before. And unless some sort of significant injury happens, outside of that, if these 2 teams are whole moving forward, where's the pathway? Besides, drinking the Knick Kool-Aid and putting the underwear on and thinking that it's, end all be all, this is their year. And you're going to look back on and say it's a missed opportunity, with no Boston, Cleveland out of the picture. Giannis, you look at Dame Lillard hurt Milwaukee. The 76ers were a disaster this year. Look at the Knicks. They put this group together for these kind of moments, and here they are down 3-1. And when I say there's a chance, 4.6%. I mean, that's the chance the Knicks have of winning this series. Historically speaking, that's true, because 95.4% of teams in 7-game series in the history of the NBA playoffs that have gone up 3-1 have gone on to win that series. So those are the odds that the Knicks are facing, right? It was 93% the teams that won the first 2 games on the road go out there, win 93% of the time. It's disappointing. Never got a sense, though, even though Indiana with some stupid possessions in the fourth quarter were hoisting up threes, never really got a sense, Figgy, watching it with Mr. G in the sports department at Pix 11, never really got a sense that the Knicks were going to be able to overcome after that 13-0 run, end of the second quarter, start of the third quarter by Indiana. Never got a sense that the Knicks were going to be able to get over the top like they did in Game 3.
Yeah, and I listen, Moose. An injury wouldn't do it. I honestly wouldn't do it because Rick Carlisle just play a guy.
Halliburton.
No. I wouldn't even say Halliburton. You know why? Because Halliburton sat and watched a lot of the game, and you could just sit there and go, wait a minute, Halliburton hasn't been in the game this whole time, and they're still leading, and they're still doing tremendous things on offense. They're still that tough on offense without having Halliburton in the game. Halliburton went absolutely off in the first quarter, right? We saw him have almost a triple-double there in the first half, and you're sitting back and going, yeah, this kid is very special, very unique. He's just an awkward, he's a guy that you can't cover one way or another. He doesn't just go right. He doesn't just go left. He's so awkward to watch. But what he does is he is a facilitator at the very end of the day. He can facilitate with these passes that make no sense or why you would try these passes. And if he doesn't have the pass, somehow he can flip it up off the glass. He's bigger. He's faster than Jalen Brunson. He's running circles around him. He looks fresh come the fourth quarter, whereas Jalen Brunson looks absolutely like a prized fighter in the eighth round, just, with his head between his knees. We see Karl Anthony Towns after he was going off in that second quarter. He was gassed, absolutely gassed, trying to keep pace, because what you see out of Rick Carlisle is 10 guys or more coming in and out of the games, guys who you haven't seen all year long, dropping 20 points on the Knicks. Those kinds of things can happen in the playoff series, and I get it. There's just too many guys to worry about, to cover, to make sure that they're not the ones doing it, but it continues to happen.
No, true. I mean, we'll agree to disagree on Halliburton. I think he's the head of the snake, but I mean snake in a good way. I mean, they're
not like Tatum. It's not like Tatum with Boston. It's not like Tatum with Boston. Halliburton goes down, they're still going to be able to be facilitated.
I mean, competitive. I don't know if listen, knock on wood. Hopefully no one gets hurt. Nobody's rooting for injuries. Mm-hmm. But that's the level that you're looking at. Halliburton was exquisite last night. He was the best player on the court. And I do think he makes that team go. Nesmith has been great defensively when you're looking at Jalen Brunson. Brunson after the game talking about that he needs to go out there and do more. He finished the game with 31 points. Bridges was terrible last night. OG was awful shooting the ball from behind the arc. I think he finished the game 1 of 7. Robinson's impact, he was a minus 20 when he is on the court. I think moving forward, I think tomorrow night, at the Garden for Game 5, as the Knicks are facing elimination, Pacers with an opportunity to punch their ticket to the NBA Finals. I think Thibodeau's got to go back to the starting lineup and bring Robinson off the bench. It worked in a small stretch. In Game 3, it did not work at all last night when you look at it. The Knicks gave up what? How many points in the first quarter? 43?
43. They had 42 in the second half of that other game and 43 in the first quarter.
It was terrible last night. I'd go back to the starting lineup of Hart, OG, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, and Karl Anthony Towns. Bring Robinson off the bench and use Robinson, and don't overextend him, because the other thing is when you overextend him, his impact is minimized. He gets exhausted. He's tired. He's not they once did. All of those things. Like if you use Mitchell Robinson anywhere from 21 to 23 minutes in the game, you're going to get a great version of Mitchell Robinson. You overextend him, his impact becomes more and more minimal as you move forward by the minutes that he is on the court. That's the thing the Knicks learn. They don't have a lot of great depth. Starting 5 has been exposed. Indiana wants to go up and down the court. Carlisle's talking about the fact of maximizing possessions, keep pushing it. They want to exhaust the Knicks. And let's be honest, Figgy, they have. They have exhausted,
no doubt,
as these games have gone along.
No doubt. And I think one of the things you look at, you start looking inside some of the numbers, right? The assists. If Halliburton has more assists than your entire team, there's an issue, right? That lets you know. You're trying to keep pace, and we keep saying, find the open look, find the open man. But what we're watching is a lot of what you hate is dribble basketball of Jalen Brunson running around in circles, trying to find 2 or 3 picks to get Nesmith off his back and be able to try and put up a shot. But guys standing out there on the wings, on the perimeter, to try and create space and let Jalen Brunson do his thing. We get it. We've seen it over and over and over again. And the box score looks great. Oh my God, he put up 31 points. But at the end of the day, there were a ton of shots, a ton of makes that were there for him that he couldn't make because he's tired. He doesn't have the legs the same way. He doesn't have that fourth quarter ability to finish. We saw a lot of that up and down the court. I expected more out of guys like Anunoby and Bridges. And for whatever reason, if it's trying to make up for the deficiencies on defense with Cat being out there and then Brunson being out there, because again, they're getting time off because they were keeping them off the floor from being on the court at the same time, right? But Bridges and Anunoby are still out there having to keep running in circles, chasing these guys. So no matter what, there's at least 3 Knicks that are huffing and puffing out on the floor, no matter what lineup Carlisle has in there. And then you just sit there and you're like, wait a minute, you're telling me that all their guys are sitting, all their starters are sitting on the bench right now, and the Knicks are still huffing and puffing and giving up wide open threes and giving up
tempo. And McConnell coming off the bench. You know, what happened to the Knicks picking them up at 94 feet? Knicks trying to tempo the game. I mean, Indiana's pushing the ball even off makes. I mean, it's really impressive when you watch it. And you watch the Pacers over an extended period of time. And this is not a fluke. The Pacers have been, to their record, the second best team in the NBA since we hit 2025. I mean, that's it. And so, I thought it was cool with them talking about Aaron Nesmith, that his mom came into town. He took all the, did everything that he needed to do, ice, and I guess, STEM stuff or electronic stuff like that on his ankle to make sure that he's able to give it a go. We talked about it yesterday right here on the podcast on Figgie and the Moose that, he missed 35 games a year ago with a similar ankle sprain, was back in there last night and didn't really look any worse. No. There was no limping. There was no issues whatsoever. It was a game time decision. He wanted to go out there and play. We'll see how that ankle reacts going into a game 5 tomorrow night. I'll tell you, I think the Knicks, and we'll get into some other things in regards to the game after the quick timeout, Figgy. You and I both liked the Knicks last night. Never would have bet it at 2.5.
Right.
2.5. I don't know what's necessarily going to change going into tomorrow night, obviously, outside of them being home with all the stars around. I don't, if Indiana goes out there and plays their game, they're just better. I mean, that's it. I mean, I think that's what we learned here. We can look at missed opportunities, but you know what? You make those mistakes, you turn the basketball over because you are mentally and physically fatigued.
Yeah, no, the turnovers were just an abundance. You were yelling at the screen as much as I was. I know every time down the court, it was, do you not see a guy in a yellow jersey in between you and your teammate? Every time trying to make that skip pass, trying to make the extra pass. Didn't matter. Somebody seemed to always be on the ball. And when you have a lead and you have a team like this, you can do those kinds of things. They're ready to change over in transition. As soon as that ball is tipped, one guy is gone. You're going to look for a guy down the court. We saw the Knicks often miscommunication. Josh Hart throwing up his hands left, right, and center because somebody didn't pick up his man because they got by him. He expected a big man to be behind him. No, they've got the big men out on the perimeter, right? Because they got Miles Turner shooting threes. So if Cat is out on Miles Turner, there's nobody behind him because you don't have Mitchell Robinson in at the time. It is watching one of the greatest chess matches as Carlisle seems to go piece for piece with who's going in and whatever subs being made. They seem to have a matchup problem for that guy that comes in for the Knicks. And it's just laughable at this point. It really is, to see exactly what's happening and how we just don't see. There are times, legit, Moose, that you're watching the basketball get put in and it's 2 moves being made. By the time they start to make a move towards the basket, you got 8 seconds or less on the shot clock, and it's time after time after time of going down the court. Like there's no adjustment made. There's no, a play called out from the sidelines. We used to laugh with, when the coaches would whistle out and throw, triangle, we're doing this, we're doing. No, there's none of that. All you see is like, be better. Like find a way to be better. And we don't. I don't think this is it. What I'm watching right now is last year we said, wow, what if, because of the health. This year it's not the health. There isn't enough to keep up with the continuity of that roster of the Indiana Pacers and what they are doing. There's no answer for Haliburton. He's pulling up from the logo and smiling while taking a 3 in your face. It's just a relentless, it's such a defeated feeling. It has to be. Right? You get a couple of stops, you're within 6, you think, okay, this is where we make our run. And Haliburton pulls up from the logo and hits a 3 in your face. I mean, what do you do in that situation? That's got to be the most deflated feeling, because as you look around and to a man, it's just like, it's the Rocky movie. We just don't have enough right now.
Yeah. When do they start taking those dopey street signs down? They make people out already. I mean, they're probably making a plan. Sunday, what are we going to do? No, Monday. No, not on the weekend. Maybe Monday. Mm-hmm. We'll get into that Let's touch upon some other things. It's Figgie and the Moose on this Wednesday right here on Pix 11 Plus. Welcome back. It's Figgie and the Moose. Marc, Malusis, Nelson, Figueroa with you here on this Wednesday on Pix 11 Plus. Obviously, a little the season's not over, not officially yet, but warm up the fat lady because she's about to start singing. At some point in time, it's not a matter of.
And it's all my fault.
Well, yeah, it
was all my fault yesterday.
Yeah, you poked the bear. We'll get into that momentarily. I thought last night the McAfee stuff before the game. Did you see that where he pumped up the crowd, did basically kind of a wrestling thing, Mr.
Yeah.
The former Colt punter, superstar broadcaster. He's all over the place right now. But Pat McAfee calling out Ben Stiller, calling out Spike Lee, calling out Timothy Chalamet. I knew the Knicks were in trouble when the video got posted of Chalamet and Ben Stiller walking in to the building last night before the game got started. That's not exactly what you want to see if you're a Knicks fan. Show me Patrick. Show me LJ. Show me Marcus Camby. I don't need to see Timothy Chalamet and Ben Stiller walking in, right? I thought McAfee was entertaining. I really did. And then he punches Rick Carlisle on the shoulder as he's walking off the court. Like, I thought that was really entertaining by McAfee, who's like a one of one. There's no doubt about it. Like, I find him fun. And last night, I thought he did a great job pumping up the crowd, basically saying, send these SOBs back to New York.
So you know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen. How are the Knicks going to retaliate?
Fat Joe.
Fat Joe is going to be center court calling out the Indiana Pacers. You guys are faster than us. You guys are stronger than us, but you're not us. Woo!
Yeah, exactly. They'll call out Fat Joe. That worked in the World Series against the Dodgers.